The security guard wouldn't meet my eyes as he watched me pack 17 years into a cardboard box. My hands trembled, not from fear, but from the effort of not slamming my fist through Ryan's smug face visible through the conference room glass. "That's the last of it, Alex," the guard muttered, shifting his weight. I picked up the framed photo of Allison and me at Niagara Falls, taken during happier times when I believed hard work and honesty meant something. The frame's corner had chipped last month when it fell during one of my late nights perfecting the catalyst's convection system. Now that imperfection seemed prophetic. "You know what the funny thing is?" I said, more to myself than the guard. I saved every email, every single one. The guard looked uncomfortable. "We need to go." As I walked past the engineering lab where I'd spent countless nights, I caught Scott's eye through the window. My closest colleague for a decade just looked away. The betrayal stung, but I understood. People had mortgages, kids in college. Ryan had made it clear. Anyone who sided with me would be next. In the parking lot, I set the box on my Honda's trunk and looked back at Verve Dynamics' gleaming facade. Somewhere in that building sat a buried engineering report that would either vindicate me or vanish forever. Ryan thought he'd won. He thought firing me would make his problem disappear. He had no idea what 2.5 years of patience could accomplish. 3 weeks before my termination, I was nobody special. Just Alex Bennett, senior mechanical engineer, the guy who showed up first and left last. My desk faced away from the window because I preferred the wall where I'd pinned up thermal dynamics charts and stress test results. Coffee rings stained the wood where my world's okayest engineer mug sat every morning for 17 years. Allison used to joke that I loved that building more than our house. "At least the house doesn't have your name on 7 patents, I'd counter, making her roll her eyes. Verve Dynamics wasn't Google or Apple. We were a boutique appliance company, the kind that sold $3,000 espresso machines to people who thought Williams-Sonoma was too mainstream. Our founder, Harrison Verve, built the company on one principle: perfect is the enemy of good, but good enough is the enemy of great. I lived by those words. Every product that left our facility worked exactly as promised because I made sure of it. The coffee makers that never leaked, the food processors that lasted decades, the smart fridges that actually stayed smart. I'd had my hands in all of them. The catalyst was supposed to be my masterpiece, a countertop convection oven that could rival professional equipment, but whisper quiet enough for apartment living. I'd spent 2 years perfecting the fan system, testing dozens of bearing configurations until I found the perfect balance of airflow and silence. Then Ryan Verve joined the company. Harrison's son wasn't a monster. That's what made it worse. He was smart, driven, and desperate to prove he deserved his position. Fresh from Wharton, he had theories about agile manufacturing and just-in-time delivery that sounded great in boardrooms, but terrified those of us who actually built things. "Alex, right?" he said during his first lab tour, actually waiting for an answer. "Dad says you're the genius behind our products. Must be intimidating, having someone looking over your shoulder now." I studied him. Expensive suit, yes, but wrinkled from actually working. Dark circles under his eyes. This wasn't just nepotism. This was a son trying to fill shoes he wasn't sure fit. "Only if you're here to change what works," I said. He laughed, but it was strained. "What if I'm here to make it work better? Then we'll get along fine." We didn't. "I understand your concerns." Ryan pinched the bridge of his nose, a gesture I'd seen him do more frequently as launch deadlines approached. "But we're hemorrhaging money." I pushed the vendor proposal back across his desk. "These bearings don't meet spec. They meet revised specs. You can't revise physics, the thermal expansion." will cause a minor acoustic anomaly after extended use. I read your report, Alex. All 40 pages. He pulled up a spreadsheet. Do you know what 2 weeks means to our bottom line? We're talking about a $500,000 difference. I leaned forward. And when customers start returning units? If they return units, your own data shows the issue won't manifest for at least 14 months of regular use. Most customers don't even keep appliances that long anymore. Ours do. That's our brand promise. Ryan stood, pacing to the window. My father built this company when people fixed things instead of replacing them. That world doesn't exist anymore. It does for the people who pay $3,000 for an oven. He turned back, and for a moment, I saw something raw in his expression. Fear, maybe. The board is watching every move I make. They're already saying I only got this position because he stopped. I need this launch to succeed. Then do it right. I need it to succeed now. His voice cracked slightly. You've been here 17 years. You have reputation, respect. I have a last name and 90 days to prove I'm more than that. I almost felt sorry for him. Almost. Ryan, I get it. But cutting corners. It's not cutting corners. It's prioritizing. He returned to his desk, composing himself. Use the new bearings. That's final. I spent the next 3 days documenting everything. Not out of spite, but out of habit. Engineers document. It's what we do. Thermal expansion coefficients, decibel measurements, failure projections. Every piece of data that proved the cheaper bearings would create problems. I submitted the report formally, CCing Harrison and the quality assurance team. Standard procedure. Cover your ass. Engineering 101. Ryan's response came within an hour. A meeting invite titled Alignment Discussion. The conference room smelled like burned coffee and disappointment. Lisa from HR sat in the corner, laptop open, fingers poised over keys like a court reporter at an execution. This isn't personal, Ryan began, sliding a paper across the table. But I can't have senior staff undermining strategic decisions. I didn't touch the paper. Is that what we're calling it? Strategic? What would you call it? My job. He sighed, and again I caught that glimpse of something human. Your job is to be part of a team. This report, sending it to my father, to QA, to half the company. What did you think would happen? I thought we'd have a discussion, like adults, like engineers. Engineers. He laughed, but it was bitter. You know what the board calls engineers? Cost centers, necessary evils, speed bumps on the way to market. Then they're idiots. They're reality. He tapped the termination paper. Sign it. Take the severance. Find a company that still values what you value. What about the report? Something shifted in his expression. Hardened. What report? I don't see anything in our system. Lisa's typing stopped for just a second. Just long enough for me to understand. You're burying it. I'm prioritizing. Just like you taught me. He stood. Security's waiting outside. The next 20 minutes blurred together. The security guard, the box, the long walk of shame. Only when I reached my car did I realize Ryan had been right about one thing. He'd learned from me. Document everything. Too bad for him, so had I. You're obsessing. Allison set a sandwich next to my laptop, where I'd been scrolling through job listings for the 4th straight hour. I'm job hunting. You're stalking Verve's press releases. She wasn't wrong. Every week brought new announcements about the catalyst. Revolutionary. Game-changing. Whisper-quiet technology. That last one made me laugh. Give it time. Let it go, she said gently. Find something new. I did, sort of. Contract work for smaller firms, mostly. Unglamorous stuff. Fixing other people's mistakes, optimizing ancient production lines. It paid the bills, but felt like playing piano in a whorehouse after composing symphonies. 6 months passed, then 8. The Catalyst won awards. Ryan got promoted to executive vice president. I got familiar with the taste of humble pie. Then Scott called. "Can't talk long," he said, voice low. "But thought you should know. We're getting warranty claims. The bearings. I don't work there anymore." "Right, of course, just be ready." "For what?" "I don't know. Maybe nothing. Maybe something. But I kept a copy of your report. Just in case." "Scott, gotta go." The line went dead. I stared at my phone, then at my laptop, where my own copy of the report sat in an encrypted folder. Waiting. 3 more months passed before I made my move. The blog was simple. The engineer's notebook, a case study in product development. No company names, no accusations, just data. I posted my report with redacted identifiers. Let readers draw their own conclusions about a high-end appliance company that chose cheaper bearings against engineering recommendations. Academic, dry. The kind of thing only other engineers would read. Then I researched product reviewers. Not the YouTube personalities who'd praise anything for clicks, but the obsessives. The ones who ran 1,000-hour tests for fun. I found my target. David Chen, no relation, who ran tech teardown from his garage. Former Boeing engineer who spent 6 months testing a toaster just to prove a point about planned obsolescence. My email was brief. Documented case of bearing substitution in commercial appliance. Full test data available. Interested? His response came 3 weeks later. Interesting. Which model? I didn't answer directly. The data includes thermal signatures and acoustic profiles. A thorough tester could identify it. Clever. Legal liability? Public data. Draw your own conclusions. 2 months of silence. Then, acquired several high-end ovens for long-term testing. Your data is illuminating. I didn't respond. The hook was set. 14 months after the Catalyst launch. 2 months past my earliest failure projection. David Chen posted a video. The $3,000 oven with a 50-cent problem. It wasn't immediately viral. Good engineering content never is. But it was thorough. 8 months of testing condensed into 45 minutes of methodical destruction. The squeaking started at month 6, just as I'd predicted. By month 8, the decibel levels made the whisper-quiet marketing laughable. The real damage came from his forensic breakdown. He'd acquired my report, somehow, and overlaid his findings with my predictions. Every failure point, every timeline, every warning ignored. "This isn't a design flaw," he concluded. "This is a choice. Someone, somewhere, decided your premium purchase deserved economy components." The video crawled to 100K views over 3 weeks. Then a major tech blog picked it up. Then another. Then Consumer Reports called Verve for comment. Ryan's response was textbook crisis management. "We stand behind our products and are investigating these claims thoroughly." The internet smelled blood. Scott called again. "It's chaos here. Emergency meetings every day. Ryan's bringing in consultants." Good for him. "He knows it was you. The report. He's telling everyone you sabotaged." Did I? Or did I just document reality? Scott was quiet. "The CPSC is sniffing around. Some customers are organizing. This is bigger than warranty claims." The Consumer Product Safety Commission. That changed everything. A viral video was bad PR. Government investigation was existential threat. "Take care, Scott, and maybe update your resume." Already did, 6 months ago. But the real avalanche took time. 4 more months of customer complaints. 2 more viral videos from other reviewers. A scathing Bloomberg article about the danger of MBA decision-making. Verve's stock price began its slow decline. Harrison Verve's call came on a Tuesday, 28 months after my firing. I almost didn't recognize his voice. It sounded older, tired. We need to talk. I don't think that's wise. Legal reasons. There won't be legal action. Against you anyway. He paused. Please, 1 hour. I agreed, against Allison's protests and my lawyer's advice. Curiosity, maybe. Or closure. The building looked the same but felt different. Emptier. The parking lot that once overflowed now had vacant spaces. In the lobby, a young receptionist I didn't recognize barely looked up. The energy was gone. Harrison's office was chaos. Bankers' boxes lined the walls. His desk, once pristine, drowning in legal documents. Sit, he said. Please. I remained standing. Where's Ryan? Managing our Asia-Pacific division. Harrison's smile was grim. The board felt he needed international experience indefinitely. Not fired, exiled, corporate politics at its finest. The bearings. Voluntary recall starting next quarter. Every unit. The CPSC was persuasive. He gestured to the boxes. 2 class action suits so far. Insurance is fighting coverage. Says we knowingly shipped defective products. Did you? He met my eyes. I didn't know. Should have, but didn't. Ryan made a decision. I failed to oversee it properly. He rubbed his temples. The board's given me 18 months to stabilize things before they bring in outside leadership. My legacy reduced to damage control. He pulled out a folder. My report. Original timestamps intact. It found this in Ryan's archived emails 6 months ago during discovery. He kept everything, thinking it protected him. Instead, he slid it across. You tried to save us from ourselves. I tried to do my job, which I prevented you from doing. He leaned back. I won't insult you with an apology. What's done is done. But I need you to know, the new production runs use your original specs. Every bearing, every component, exactly as you designed. 2.5 years too late. Yes. He stood, extending his hand. I hope you've found something better. I shook his hand. I have. Smaller company. They actually listen to engineers. Smart of them. He walked me to the door. Ryan sends his regards, by the way. From Singapore. Says the humidity is hell on precision instruments. He would know. He's learned a lot. Too late, but he's learned. Harrison paused. We all have. As I left, I passed the engineering lab. New faces, younger faces, hunched over workstations. On the wall, someone had posted a sign, "In God we trust. All others must bring data." My report had made it into Verve's mythology. Not the way I'd intended. But there it was. 6 months later, 3 years after that security guard watched me pack my box, Allison and I sat on our deck, watching storm clouds gather. The startup I'd joined had stabilized. Good people, honest work. Nobody prioritizing quarterly earnings over quality. Verve settled the lawsuits, I said, scrolling through the news on my tablet. Undisclosed amount, but Reuters estimates 8 figures. You checking up on them again? Last time, promise. She raised an eyebrow. Okay, probably the last time. Thunder rumbled in the distance. We should have gone inside, but the approaching storm felt appropriate. Cleansing almost. You ever regret how it played out? She asked. Which part? The waiting. You could have gone public immediately, sued, made noise. I thought about it. Noise fades. Data persists. If I'd sued, I'd be the disgruntled employee. By waiting, letting them hang themselves, I became the engineer who was right. Very calculated. Very engineering. Sometimes the best revenge is just letting physics take its course. She squeezed my hand. My patient, methodical engineer. Former patient engineer. Now I'm just a guy who builds things that work. Same thing. The first drops of rain started falling. We gathered our things, heading inside. As I closed the door, I caught a glimpse of my old Verve Dynamics mug on the shelf. Allison had rescued it from the box that day, keeping it despite my protests. "You know what the lesson is?" I asked, still looking at the mug. "What's that?" "Small imperfections matter. In bearings, in judgment, in character. Ignore them at your peril." She kissed my cheek. Still pontificating after all these years. Occupational hazard. The storm broke then. Rain hammering against windows. Somewhere, catalyst ovens with proper bearings were working silently in kitchens across the country. Most owners would never know how close they'd come to disappointment. But in a handful of engineering departments, in ethics classes and design reviews, my report had become a case study. The unnamed engineer who documented disaster got fired for it and waited nearly 3 years for the truth to surface. Good design is invisible, good engineering even more so. But sometimes, just sometimes, patience and documentation are the best revenge of all. Even if justice takes 3 years and arrives not with a bang, but with a squeak.